Hello there and welcome back to Midlife Rises. I'm Cheryl. We are approaching the Thanksgiving season, and in the next month or so we'll have the Christmas holidays, which is my most favorite time of the year. It's the Thanksgiving, yes, but we are dealing with a very serious time. A family member is in the hospital, and it's a situation where it is in God's hands. This is a time where we get to be shown that we are really not in control of anything. So today I'd like to talk about the benefits of having faith. Okay, so don't go away. So yeah, it's a jolly time, but it's not so much of a happy time because we are dealing with this situation. Now, I've said a few times that faith is believing in something that you're not seeing. And that's basically what it is. In our lives, we tend to do so many things to secure ourselves, and we lose track of the fact that we still should acknowledge that there is someone that is watching everything, and that we should have a grateful heart, contentment, that kind of thing. That stuff is very powerful. I usually say very important. I'm going to say powerful, because some of us tend to think that we'll just go ahead and secure ourselves and do whatever we have to do to get ahead. That crabs in a barrel thing. Not being concerned with the way we treat one another, the things that we do to one another to get ahead. It's just basically secure ourselves and we'll be good going forward. And that's not the way it works. There is someone watching, and we have to be very, very careful on the things that we do and the way in which we treat another person. And I'm talking about faith, but I'm tying this into it because some of the things that I've seen so far, it's not a good picture. When it comes to money, we all want to have the best, and we all like nice things, but there needs to be a line. And some of the stuff that I have witnessed up close and personal, it's not good. And it is not of God. God is love. And when you get to the point where you're not caring about another person to make sure that you secure yourself, now that is offensive to God. I'm not going to push or try to cram religion down anyone's throat. But what I will tell you is that we didn't just appear here. Someone got us out of that womb. And one of the reasons why I wanted to do the discernment piece is because we have to have that consciousness. When we have that awareness, that self-awareness, and I'm not going to say emotional intelligence, that is what I'm talking about, but I'm just going to say when we have that consciousness that there is someone above us that are paying strict attention, I think we'll go about life a little differently, especially in our midlife. You know someone your entire life, and then you get up one day and it's not the same person because they've allowed themselves to get involved with things of darkness. And the love goes away because greed starts to take place, and these things are not of God. I'm talking about faith, and I just want to make that clear. When you have that consciousness that there is someone watching, we will go about things a little differently. The way, as I said, that we treat one another, the things that we do for money, these things will not really be taking place. Not when there's some form of consciousness. The other part of having faith in this situation where my family member is in the hospital, at some point you have to know that we've got to be able to just step back and surrender stuff to the divine. That is how I live my life. I know that I'm not in control of anything. There are a few things that I can do to make sure that I survive, but there are times that things are completely out of whack, and I am aware that it is time to stand still. I mean, if you're in a gush of waves, the best thing to do is to just stand still and let it do what it has to do, and then it will guide you where you have to go. Same concept. We have to have that faith because He is omnipresent to do whatever it is that He does. We all have our own beliefs and we have a choice. I'm not super religious. I consider myself more spiritual than anything, but I've always been conscious of doing the right thing. I truly believe and understand that there is such a thing as karma, and that we have to take accountability for the things that we do. In this instance, where my family member being in the hospital, sickness can happen at any time. But when it does, we have no one else to turn to but the divine. You know, we've got the doctors and so on, but we just have to have the faith. And that's all around. The faith that when things are not working out, we just have to surrender it. We're living in a time with a lot of darkness, and it is important to make sure that we choose the right side, because when things go awry, and it will, I was saying in the last episode that the enemy, and I heard that on something I was listening to, the enemy fattens up the pigs for slaughter. And it works with a lot of us when we're not conscious of the fact that we're being led. We're led to the slaughterhouse. Right now, you know, we're dealing with the Thanksgiving season where the family members get together, enjoy a good meal, and just be grateful. And that is something that we need to do every day. The other thing that we need to be conscious of is having love in our hearts, because God is love. Not waiting until tomorrow to show that love, because tomorrow is not promised. We've got to be a little more conscious that life, it's made up of so much more than money. You know, being cravicious, and that's the way they say it in the islands, but the word is really covetous and superficial. It's not a good way to be. That is not of God. And, you know, I mean, fear also is not of God. But we've got to be conscious of the things that we do for money and the way in which we treat one another. The way we treat one another, the way we treat our bodies, there should be some consciousness there. I had a friend years ago that did this to me. He put a piece of paper right up in my face and he said, "Are you seeing that?" I said, "Of course not, it's all the way in my face." And he said, "Exactly. And something is up close, it's very hard to really see it. There has to be some level of consciousness in order to see, to really understand what is going on. You have to make the extra effort in order to notice it, to acknowledge it. And it's important for us to start to do some acknowledgement of the fact that there is someone above us. There is someone watching. And that He has our backs with life. Because so much can go wrong without that guidance, that protection. A lot of us are trying to get the easy way out, and we get led down the wrong path. But it's important to know that when we are overwhelmed with anything, whether it's grief, betrayal, anything of that nature, we should be comfortable to know that things will work itself out. I've been through a good bit, and that's the route that I chose to take. I stay on the narrow road. I mean, it's not easy, but I learn from it, and I do understand that a lot of times things happen for us and not necessarily to us. Okay? That faith is very, very important. To keep yourself steady and on a straight line, it's important to start acknowledging and to be grateful for the little that you do have, and watch how you're going about things to get ahead. Because you want to have your blessings. You want to be able to enjoy your harvest. It's important that you get it the right way. In order to understand those principles, you need to acknowledge the higher being, God, the divine, the universe. Just walk that straight line so that you don't ruin your blessings. There are a lot of things that happen that we don't fully understand, like what's taking place right now. But God is love. And whatever He chooses to do, we need to respect it and learn to understand it, but to know that He's there and we're in good hands. I consider myself a child of the light. I don't mess around with darkness. I do need to see, so I need light. Why I'm saying this is because I don't think that that whole COVID situation was an accident. I think that was some form of warning. You know, it might be a little paranoia on my part, but I just find it hard to believe that something like that attacked the entire world. It wasn't just the US or the islands. It was the entire world that got affected by this thing. And it meant nothing. I mean, people are still not conscious of the things that they do. I am not going to try to go too broad into this, but I will say that having faith, it helps to give us that peace of mind. And when you acknowledge the fact that there is someone that is, is controlling things, it just tends to take a little weight off. Again, I'm not trying to push religion on anyone, but I think certain principles need to be in place. Having faith helps us. So happy holidays. I don't say this a lot, but I do want to thank all of my subscribers for the support. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family, and we will see you next time, okay? You take care now. Bye.